Hello and welcome to Mr. Sleepy Science. Tonight we're going on a peaceful journey under the waves, discovering hundreds of amazing facts about the ocean, a huge, mysterious world that covers more than 70% of our planet. From old shipwrecks sitting on the ocean floor to creatures that glow in the dark and underwater mountains taller than mountains on land, the ocean holds wonders both beautiful and surprising. So lie back, breathe slowly, and let your mind drift like gentle waves as we uncover the secrets of Earth's biggest home for life. Whether you're here to relax, learn, or simply fall asleep, these calming stories and interesting truths will guide you into a peaceful night. Let's begin. More history underwater than on land. When you think of history, you usually picture ancient ruins and old objects on land. But the ocean actually holds way more historical treasures under its surface than all the places on land combined. Over thousands of years, countless ships have sunk, ports have gone underwater, and whole cities have been lost to rising seas. These underwater places keep artifacts in really good condition because there's not much oxygen down there and the temperature stays the same, which stops things from breaking down. Examples include sunken Roman ships and the underwater city of Pavlopetri in Greece, which is one of the oldest known underwater cities. Modern tools like sonar mapping and underwater robots are now helping archaeologists find these hidden time capsules, showing us huge pieces of human history that have been hidden for centuries under the waves. Some jellyfish can live forever. Unlike most creatures that age and eventually die, certain types of jellyfish can actually avoid death completely through an amazing process. The most famous example is called Turritopsis dohrnii, often called the immortal jellyfish. When it's injured, stressed, or getting old, this jellyfish can turn its cells back to an earlier stage, basically restarting its whole life. This process lets the jellyfish go back to being young before growing into an adult again. Because this can happen over and over, these jellyfish could potentially live forever unless they're killed by disease or predators. This ability changes what we know about aging and has really interested scientists who study how cells can renew themselves. Some fish can change their gender. In many fish species, individuals can actually change their sex during their lifetime. This amazing ability lets a fish switch from male to female or the other way around, depending on what's happening in their environment or their social group. For example, clownfish are born male and can become female if the main female in their group dies. On the other hand, some wrasses start life as females and later change into males. This flexibility helps with reproduction and keeps the population balanced. It also shows how incredibly adaptable ocean life is to changing conditions. The biggest mountain ranges are underwater. Beneath the waves lies an underwater world shaped by huge mountain ranges that stretch way beyond any found on land. The mid-ocean ridges, for example, form one long chain that circles the entire planet and is over 65,000 kilometers long, much longer than the Andes or the Himalayas. These underwater mountains are places where the Earth's plates are moving apart and new ocean floor is being made. They affect ocean currents, where sea creatures live, and even the Earth's geology, reminding us of the powerful forces shaping our planet. Some seaweed can grow over 1 meter per day. Certain types of seaweed, especially giant kelp, can grow incredibly fast, sometimes more than 1 meter in just one day. This super fast growth lets kelp forests develop into thick underwater homes for thousands of sea creatures. The tall kelp stalks provide shelter, food, and nursery areas for fish, small sea animals, and mammals. These forests also play a big role in absorbing carbon, making them important helpers for keeping the ocean healthy and fighting climate change. The ocean has more gold than all mines on land. It might sound unbelievable, But the world's oceans hold about 20 million tons of dissolved gold. That's more than all the gold ever dug up from mines on land. The gold gets into the oceans through rivers, underwater volcanoes, and hot water vents constantly moving through ocean systems. Sometimes gold builds up near certain underwater mineral spots, which gets people interested in future mining as technology gets better. For now, this huge amount of gold remains a silent and hidden treasure, reminding us of the ocean's enormous and mostly untapped riches. The deepest part of the ocean is deeper than Everest is tall. The Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific Ocean, is the deepest known spot in the world's oceans. Its lowest area, called Challenger Deep, goes down nearly 11 kilometers below sea level. To help you understand, Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on land, stands about 8.8 kilometers above sea level. If Everest was placed at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be more than a kilometer underwater. The crushing pressure at this depth is more than 1,000 times the pressure on the surface, creating a harsh environment where only specially adapted creatures can survive. Despite being so remote and extreme, expeditions have found unique life forms living in this deep world, challenging what we know about how tough life can be. More than 80% of the ocean is still unexplored. Even though the ocean covers more than 70% of Earth's surface, scientists think that over 80% of it is still unexplored and unmapped. This huge unexplored area includes deep trenches, underwater mountain ranges, and flat deep-sea plains that remain mysterious and poorly understood. Improvements in technology like remote-controlled underwater vehicles, self-driving underwater drones, and better sonar mapping have started to uncover the ocean's secrets, regularly finding new species and interesting features. The ocean remains one of the planet's last great frontiers, holding countless mysteries that might change our understanding of life, geology, and climate in the years ahead.
Sea otters use rocks as tools. Sea otters are among the few animals that use tools in the wild, and their favorite tool is a simple rock. These smart mammals dive to the ocean bottom to collect shellfish like clams, sea urchins, and mussels. To crack open these hard shells, they bring a rock with them or use a rock on the ocean floor like a table. By smashing or pounding their food against the rock, sea otters can get to the tasty meat inside. Using tools takes skill and learning, often passed from mothers to their babies, showing surprising smarts and culture in these sea mammals. More species live in the ocean than on land. The ocean is the most diverse habitat on Earth when it comes to different types of life, with scientists guessing it hosts millions more species than those found on land. From tiny plankton to giant whales, the ocean's variety of life spans countless ecosystems, including coral reefs, kelp forests, deep-sea vents, and polar ice edges. Many sea creatures remain undiscovered, especially in the deep sea and remote areas, making the ocean a vast and largely unexplored treasure chest of life. This richness supports complex food chains and plays a crucial role in keeping the world's nature balanced. Coral reefs are like underwater rainforests. Coral reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, but support about 25% of all sea species, earning them the nickname rainforests of the sea. These colorful ecosystems are built by tiny coral polyps that create hard skeletons forming complex structures that provide food, shelter, and breeding grounds for countless fish, small sea animals, and algae. Coral reefs are essential for keeping sea life diverse and protecting coastlines from erosion and storms. However, they're very sensitive to environmental problems like warming temperatures and ocean acidification, making their protection a worldwide priority. Underwater volcanoes create new land. The ocean floor has thousands of underwater volcanoes, many found along the edges where Earth's plates meet. These underwater volcanoes erupt continuously, pouring out hot lava that cools quickly to form new crust. Over time, these eruptions build underwater mountains and islands, reshaping the ocean landscape. Besides creating land, volcanic activity releases minerals and gases into the water, which affect ocean chemistry and support unique ecosystems. Hot water vents near these volcanoes host amazing life forms that rely on chemicals from inside the Earth rather than sunlight, revealing a hidden world of life thriving in extreme conditions. The ocean's conveyor belt. Thermohaline circulation is a huge, slow-moving ocean current system driven by differences in water temperature and how salty it is. Warm, salty surface water flows from the tropics toward the poles, where it cools, becomes heavier, and sinks deep into the ocean. This cold water then travels along the ocean floor back toward the equator in a global loop, often called the conveyor belt. This circulation helps spread heat and nutrients around the planet, playing a key role in controlling climate and supporting sea ecosystems. Changes or problems with this system could seriously affect worldwide weather and ocean health.
Some deep-sea creatures make their own light. In the pitch-black depths of the ocean, where sunlight never reaches, many creatures have developed the ability to make their own light through a process called bioluminescence. This natural glow comes from chemical reactions inside their bodies and serves different purposes like attracting prey, communicating, or hiding. For example, the anglerfish uses a glowing lure to draw in unsuspecting victims, while certain squid and jellyfish use light to confuse predators. Bioluminescence is common in the deep sea and is one of the ocean's most fascinating ways of adapting to total darkness. Animals bigger than dinosaurs. The blue whale is the largest animal known to have ever lived on Earth. These gentle giants can grow up to 30 meters in length, about 100 feet, and weigh as much as 200 tons, which is roughly the weight of 33 elephants. Despite their massive size, blue whales feed almost only on tiny shrimp-like creatures called krill, eating up to 4 tons a day during feeding seasons. Their huge hearts are the size of small cars, and their calls can be heard over enormous distances underwater. Blue whales are a majestic reminder of the ocean's vastness and the extraordinary size of life it supports. Ocean saltiness varies. Ocean water isn't equally salty everywhere. Salinity, how much dissolved salt is in the water, changes depending on location, temperature, how much water evaporates, and how much fresh water comes in. For instance, the Red Sea is one of the saltiest bodies of water because lots of water evaporates and there's little rainfall, while the Baltic Sea has lower saltiness because it gets lots of river water. These differences in saltiness affect how heavy water is, currents, and where sea life lives. Saltiness also plays a big role in controlling ocean circulation and climate patterns worldwide. Some coral reefs are over 10,000 years old. Coral reefs are among the oldest living structures on Earth, with some reefs growing continuously for more than 10,000 years. These ancient reefs have survived huge changes in sea levels, climate, and ocean chemistry. They form the backbone of lively ecosystems that support a quarter of all sea species. How long they've lasted and how complex they are make them vital for the diversity of life, fishing, and protecting coasts. However, modern threats like warming waters and pollution put these ancient ecosystems at serious risk, highlighting how important it is to protect them. The largest living structure on Earth. The Great Barrier Reef stretches over 2,300 kilometers off the coast of Australia, making it the planet's largest living structure. Built by billions of tiny coral polyps over thousands of years, this reef system supports an amazing variety of life, including thousands of species of fish, corals, and sea mammals. Its huge size is so impressive that it's visible from space. The reef not only provides crucial homes for sea life, but also protects coastlines from erosion and supports tourism and fishing. Despite how important it is, the reef faces serious threats from climate change, coral bleaching, and pollution, making its protection a global priority.
The deep sea is the largest habitat on Earth. While the ocean's surface covers most of Earth, the deep sea, areas below 200 meters, makes up the largest habitat on Earth by volume. It spans more than half the planet's surface and contains over 90% of the ocean's water. This dark, cold, high-pressure world is home to countless unique creatures adapted to extreme conditions. Despite its size, the deep sea remains one of the least explored places on Earth, with many species still unknown to science. Understanding this habitat is key to discovering the full range of life on our planet. Dead zones, where life can't survive. Dead zones are areas in the ocean where oxygen levels have dropped so low that most sea life can't survive. These low oxygen areas are often caused by pollution from rivers and farm runoff, which feeds algae blooms. When the algae die and rot, oxygen in the water gets used up, creating unlivable conditions. Dead zones can destroy local fishing and mess up ecosystems. They've been growing in number and size worldwide, posing a big challenge to ocean health and human communities that depend on fishing. Hot water vents support life without sunlight. Hydrothermal vents are underwater geysers found near volcanic activity on the ocean floor. These vents release super hot water full of minerals that supports amazing ecosystems without any sunlight. Instead of using sunlight for energy like plants do, organisms near vents rely on chemosynthesis, where bacteria turn chemicals like hydrogen sulfide into energy. These bacteria form the base of the food chain, supporting tube worms, giant clams, and strange fish adapted to these harsh environments. Hydrothermal vent ecosystems challenge traditional ideas about what conditions are needed for life. Sperm whales have the biggest brains. Among all animals, the sperm whale has the largest brain by weight, tipping the scales at about 7 kilograms or 15 pounds. This huge brain supports complex behaviors like deep diving, sophisticated vocal communication, and social groups. Sperm whales can dive over 2,000 meters deep to hunt squid, using sound waves to navigate and find prey in the dark ocean depths. Their intelligence and complex societies make them fascinating subjects for studying marine mammal thinking and how large brains evolved. Waves can travel thousands of miles. Ocean waves, created by wind blowing across the water, can travel huge distances, sometimes thousands of miles, without losing much energy. These waves carry the power of storms far from where they started, reaching distant shores and shaping coastlines. Swell waves from Pacific storms can be felt as far away as Hawaii or California's coasts, showing the incredible reach of ocean energy. This long-distance wave travel affects how people navigate at sea, surfing conditions, and even how nutrients spread in coastal waters. The ocean absorbs our carbon dioxide. The ocean acts as a major carbon sponge by absorbing about 30% of the carbon dioxide released by human activities like burning fossil fuels. This helps slow down global warming but causes chemical changes in seawater, a process called ocean acidification. Acidification can harm sea life, especially organisms that build shells or skeletons from calcium carbonate like corals and shellfish. Scientists are studying how ongoing carbon uptake affects ocean ecosystems and what it means for our planet's climate future. The ocean holds way more carbon than the air. The ocean stores an amazing amount of carbon, about 20 times more than what's in Earth's atmosphere. This huge storage plays a critical role in controlling the global climate. Sea plants like phytoplankton absorb carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, and when these organisms die, their carbon-rich bodies sink to the seafloor, trapping carbon for centuries or longer. This storage process helps balance carbon levels, but is also affected by environmental changes that can impact ocean health and climate control. Phytoplankton blooms visible from space. Phytoplankton populations go through dramatic seasonal blooms that are so big they can be seen from space. These tiny sea plants multiply really fast when conditions like sunlight and nutrients are just right. Blooms feed the sea food web, supporting fish, whales, and other sea life. However, some blooms can become harmful, making toxins that affect sea animals and humans. Satellites watch these patterns to track ocean health and ecosystem changes on a global scale. Mangrove forests protect coasts. Mangrove forests grow along tropical coastlines and provide critical protection against erosion, storm surges, and rising sea levels. Their complex root systems hold sediments in place and reduce the impact of waves during storms. Mangroves also act as powerful carbon storage systems, locking away large amounts of carbon in their wood and soil, often much more than land forests per area. These ecosystems support rich life, including fish nurseries and bird homes, making them essential for coastal health and fighting climate change. Deep trenches are the least explored. The ocean's deep trenches, like the Mariana Trench and Tonga Trench, represent some of the most mysterious and least explored places on Earth. These narrow, deep valleys plunge thousands of meters below the surface and remain mostly unreachable due to extreme pressure and darkness. Despite harsh conditions, scientists have found unique creatures adapted to this environment. Exploring these trenches helps us understand life's limits and Earth's geology, but much remains unknown about these underwater abysses. The blob. The blob is a huge area of unusually warm water that appeared in the Pacific Ocean in recent years. This warm patch stretches over hundreds of miles and can mess up sea ecosystems by changing currents and affecting how sea life behaves. It's been linked to unusual weather patterns on North America's west coast, including droughts and changes in fish migration. The blob shows how changes in ocean temperature can have wide-reaching effects on climate and ecosystems.
Ocean energy. The ocean is a huge source of renewable energy, with tides and waves offering promising ways to make electricity. Tidal power uses the predictable rise and fall of ocean tides caused by the moon's gravity, using underwater turbines to turn this motion into energy. Wave energy captures the up and down movement of the sea surface to power generators. These technologies could provide clean energy to coastal communities while reducing dependence on fossil fuels, though challenges remain in making them bigger and dealing with environmental impact. Sea sparkle. Sea sparkle is a magical sight caused by bioluminescent algae, tiny sea organisms that give off light when disturbed. At night, waves or movement in the water can make these algae glow with a soft blue-green light, creating sparkling effects along shorelines. This natural light show not only amazes observers, but also serves purposes like scaring away predators or attracting mates. Sea sparkle can be seen in coastal waters around the world, offering a glimpse into the ocean's glowing life. Tiny plastics everywhere. Microplastics, tiny plastic bits smaller than 5 millimeters, are now found throughout the ocean, from surface waters to deep sea floor. These particles come from sources like broken down plastic waste, synthetic clothing fibers, and personal care products. Microplastics can be eaten by sea animals of all sizes, from plankton to whales, causing physical harm and bringing toxins into food chains. How widespread microplastics are poses a growing threat to ocean health and the safety of seafood for humans. The ocean makes most of our oxygen. Although forests often get credit for making oxygen, the ocean actually creates more than half the oxygen we breathe. This vital job is mainly done by microscopic plants called phytoplankton. These tiny organisms use sunlight to turn carbon dioxide into oxygen through photosynthesis. Despite their tiny size, phytoplankton exist in incredible numbers, forming the foundation of the seafood web and supporting life on Earth. Without their constant oxygen production, our planet's atmosphere and ecosystems would be very different. Ocean currents control climate. Ocean currents act like huge conveyor belts, moving heat and nutrients around the world's seas. These currents help balance the climate by carrying warm water from the equator toward the poles and cold water back toward the tropics. For example, the Gulf Stream carries warm Caribbean waters across the Atlantic to Western Europe, keeping its climate milder than other places at similar distances from the equator. Changes in these currents can affect weather patterns worldwide, sometimes causing extreme events like droughts or cold spells. Underwater tornadoes. Just like the atmosphere, the ocean has dynamic processes beneath its surface. One interesting phenomenon is underwater tornadoes called vortices. These swirling water masses form when currents collide or flow around obstacles, creating powerful spinning water columns that can stretch for miles. Vortices affect sea life by mixing nutrients, moving heat around, and shaping homes for creatures. They play a big role in ocean circulation and how organisms spread, making the underwater world as active and complex as the sky above. The flattest places on Earth. Far beneath the waves, the ocean floor has huge flat areas known as abyssal plains. These zones can extend for thousands of square kilometers and are among the flattest surfaces on the planet. Formed by the slow settling of fine sediments over millions of years, abyssal plains sit at depths between 3,000 and 6,000 meters. Despite the darkness and crushing pressure, these plains support diverse communities of animals adapted to life in this remote environment. Abyssal plains play a crucial role in Earth's geology and ocean ecosystems. Ice that shapes the world. The huge ice sheets covering parts of Antarctica and Greenland hold enough frozen water to dramatically affect global sea levels. When these ice sheets melt or grow, they cause sea levels to rise or fall, impacting coastal areas worldwide. Additionally, fresh water from melting ice can affect ocean currents by changing how salty and heavy seawater is. These changes can mess up climate systems, sea ecosystems, and weather patterns, showing how connected polar ice and ocean health are. Sharks that sense electricity. Certain shark species have a remarkable ability to detect the faint electrical fields made by the muscle movements of other animals. This sense, called electroreception, lets sharks find prey hidden under sand or murky water even when they can't see well. Special organs, called ampullae of Lorenzini, pick up these tiny electrical signals, giving sharks an advantage when hunting. This ability makes sharks some of the ocean's most efficient hunters and shows how animals have developed special senses for survival. The twilight zone. Between about 200 and 1,000 meters deep lies the ocean's mesopelagic zone, often called the twilight zone. Sunlight here is very dim, not enough for photosynthesis, but still enough to create faint, eerie lighting. Many creatures in this zone have large eyes adapted to the low light, and some make their own light through bioluminescence to communicate, hunt, or hide themselves. This zone serves as an important middle ground between the sunny surface and the dark deep sea, supporting unique ecosystems adapted to limited light. Coral spawning. Many coral species coordinate a spectacular event called coral spawning. During this time, corals release their eggs and sperm at the same time into the water, often timed with moon cycles and water temperature. This mass spawning increases the chances of successful fertilization and creates a colorful cloud of reproductive material visible from boats or satellites. This natural event is essential for coral reproduction and reef health, making these diverse and fragile ecosystems survive. Kelp forests. Kelp forests are dense underwater areas filled with large seaweed called kelp. These forests create complex three-dimensional homes that provide shelter, food, and breeding grounds for thousands of sea species, from tiny invertebrates to large fish and sea mammals. Kelp forests also help protect coastlines by reducing wave energy. They grow quickly in nutrient-rich cold waters and play an important role in storing carbon, making them vital both for nature and the environment.
Squid jet propulsion. Certain squid species have developed a powerful escape move called jet propulsion. By quickly pulling water into their body and forcefully shooting it out through a funnel, squid can zoom backward at amazing speeds. This sudden burst lets them get away from predators quickly and efficiently. Jet propulsion is a key survival trick for squid in the open ocean, combining speed with nimbleness to escape threats. Where salt comes from. The ocean's saltiness mainly comes from minerals washed into the sea over millions of years. Two main sources contribute. Volcanic activity releases gases and minerals into the air and oceans, while weathering of rocks on land dissolves minerals that rivers carry to the sea. These dissolved salts build up in ocean basins because water evaporates but leaves the minerals behind. The most common salt is sodium chloride, which gives seawater its salty taste. This process has been going on for billions of years, keeping ocean saltiness at levels needed for sea life. Nature's compass. Several sea species have the amazing ability to sense Earth's magnetic field, helping them navigate huge ocean distances accurately. Sea turtles, salmon, whales, and some fish can detect magnetic signals to find breeding grounds, feeding areas, or migration routes. This natural magnetic compass lets them travel thousands of kilometers across open water, often returning to the exact spots where they were born. Scientists are still studying how these animals detect magnetic fields, but it's clear this sense plays a crucial role in their survival and reproduction. Sea stars that regrow. Sea stars have incredible healing powers. If a sea star loses an arm due to injury or being eaten, it can regrow the lost limb. Amazingly, some species can grow an entire new body from just a single arm and part of the middle disc as long as important tissue is there. This ability lets sea stars survive attacks and keep their numbers up. Regrowth involves complex cell processes that rebuild muscles, nerves, and skeleton, making sea stars a fascinating subject for studying healing and regeneration. Plastic in the food chain. Plastic pollution in the ocean breaks down into tiny particles called microplastics, which are easily eaten by small organisms like plankton and filter feeders. These tiny creatures form the base of the ocean food chain, so when they eat microplastics, pollutants start moving up the food web. Fish, shellfish, and even larger hunters can build up plastics through their diets, possibly affecting health and survival. This contamination raises worries about ocean ecosystem health and seafood safety for people, showing the urgent need to cut down on plastic waste. Shells in danger. As the ocean soaks up carbon dioxide from the air, its chemistry changes, becoming more acidic. This acidification makes it harder for sea animals like clams, crabs, oysters, and corals to build and keep their calcium carbonate shells and skeletons. Acidic waters dissolve the minerals these creatures need, weakening shells and slowing growth. This poses serious risks to sea ecosystems and fishing that depend on shell-building species. Scientists are closely watching ocean chemistry changes to understand and reduce acidification's long-term effects. The thin layer of life. The very top layer of the ocean, known as the surface mixed layer, is surprisingly thin, usually just a few meters deep, but it plays a vital role in supporting life. This layer soaks up sunlight, allowing photosynthesis by phytoplankton, which forms the base of the sea food web. It also acts as the main meeting point between ocean and air, controlling gas exchanges like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Despite being thin, this layer affects weather, climate, and sea ecosystem health worldwide, making it a critical area for sea life. Songs across the ocean. Sea mammals like whales, dolphins, and seals talk using completely vocal sounds, songs, clicks, whistles, and calls. These sounds can share information about who they are, where they are, if they're ready to mate, and social bonds. Some whale species make haunting songs that travel hundreds of miles underwater, letting them communicate across huge distances. Researchers study these sounds to understand social groups and behaviors, as well as how noise pollution affects sea mammal communication. Lakes within the ocean. Under the ocean's surface exist unusual features known as underwater lakes and rivers. These are pools of water with different chemical makeup, often saltier or heavier, trapped in low spots on the ocean floor. Because of their higher weight, these lakes and rivers don't mix easily with surrounding seawater and can flow along the ocean floor, creating unique homes. Scientists have found such super salty pools hosting special organisms adapted to these tough conditions, expanding our understanding of ocean variety. Salt that stays balanced. Despite constant mineral input from rivers and volcanic activity, the ocean's overall salt content has stayed remarkably stable over millions of years. This balance comes from complex natural processes that remove salts, including mineral buildup and activities of sea organisms that use salts in their shells and skeletons.
This long-term salt stability is crucial for keeping sea life adapted to specific salt levels, and it helps control ocean currents and climate patterns. Seeing the invisible. Certain fish species have evolved the ability to see ultraviolet light that human eyes can't see. This better vision helps them spot prey, predators, and mates in ways we can't. UV vision can improve contrast in water, especially in shallow sunny areas, and might be used for communication through UV reflecting markings on their bodies. This sense gives these fish ecological advantages, showing the amazing variety of vision abilities in the ocean. Whale calls that cross oceans. Whales make complex songs and calls that travel amazing distances through ocean depths. These sounds can carry thousands of kilometers, letting whales stay in touch in an environment where seeing far is hard. Scientists study whale sounds to learn about their behaviors and numbers, helping protect these magnificent creatures.
Currents carry everything. Ocean currents act like giant conveyor belts, carrying not just heat and nutrients, but also pollution and trash. Plastics, chemicals, and other waste can travel thousands of kilometers, carried by surface currents into faraway areas like the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where they pile up in huge garbage patches. These currents can spread pollution across country borders, making ocean pollution a worldwide problem. Understanding currents helps scientists predict where contaminants will go and come up with ways to fix it. Predators in no hurry. Many of the ocean's top hunters, including great white sharks, have surprisingly slow reproduction rates. These species often grow up late, sometimes taking over 10 years to become adults, and have relatively few babies compared to other fish. This slow life cycle makes them vulnerable to overfishing and environmental changes, as their numbers take a long time to bounce back. Conservation efforts are crucial to protect these top predators, which play vital roles in keeping sea ecosystems balanced. Recyclers of the seafloor. Sea cucumbers might look simple and slow, but they play a crucial role in keeping the ocean floor healthy. These soft-bodied animals crawl along the seabed, eating dead plant and animal material and tiny bits of organic stuff in the mud. As they eat this material, sea cucumbers break it down and poop out nutrient-rich waste that feeds the ocean floor. This recycling helps keep nutrients balanced, supporting bacteria, algae, and other tiny organisms that bigger sea animals need. In many ocean homes, sea cucumbers are considered ecosystem engineers because what they do helps get oxygen into the sediment and stops harmful stuff from building up. Without them, the delicate web of ocean floor life could fall apart. Deadliest defenses. Some of the ocean's most dangerous animals don't rely on speed or size, but on powerful venoms and toxins to protect themselves or catch prey. Take the box jellyfish. Its venom is among the deadliest in the world, able to cause heart failure in humans within minutes. The stonefish, often hidden against the ocean floor, delivers venom through sharp spines that can cause terrible pain or even death. Cone snails, which might look harmless, use a venomous harpoon to stun prey instantly. These creatures developed their poisons over millions of years, creating complex chemicals that attack nervous systems. While scary, scientists study these toxins carefully because they could help create new medicines, including painkillers and treatments for heart disease and cancer. It reminds us that even the ocean's deadliest creatures can inspire life-saving discoveries. Thriving in extreme salt. Not all ocean plants grow in normal saltwater conditions. Some species have adapted to survive where salt levels are extremely high, way beyond what most life can handle. In salt marshes and coastal lagoons, where water dries up, leaving very salty water, certain sea plants and algae have developed special ways to cope. These include cells that push out extra salt or store it safely to avoid damage. Mangrove trees, for example, have complex root systems that filter salt from seawater, letting them grow in salty places while protecting coastlines from erosion and storms. These salt-loving plants are critical for keeping coastal ecosystems healthy, giving homes to fish and birds, and storing lots of carbon, which helps fight climate change. How tough they are shows that life can grow even in hard conditions.
Waters getting warmer. Over the past century, human activities like burning fossil fuels and cutting down forests have increased greenhouse gases in the air, making global temperatures climb. The ocean's surface temperature has also warmed a lot, with important effects for sea life and global climate. Warmer waters can mess up delicate ecosystems, especially coral reefs, which bleach and die when temperatures get too high for them. Fish and other animals might move toward cooler waters, changing food chains and fishing areas. Also, warmer oceans can make storms and hurricanes stronger, affecting weather patterns worldwide. Scientists track ocean temperature carefully because even small changes can affect sea and land ecosystems, sea levels, the variety of life, and the planet's health. Bold sharks of open water. Oceanic white-tip sharks are large, powerful hunters found throughout tropical and warm oceans. They're known by the white tips on their fins and their curious, sometimes bold behavior around people. These sharks have been involved in multiple incidents with humans, especially in open water situations like shipwrecks and plane crashes, where they're attracted to disturbances. While they're not typically found near beaches, they're considered one of the more dangerous sharks to encounter in the open ocean due to their size, strength, and fearless nature. Understanding and respecting these apex predators helps us share the ocean safely while protecting their important role in marine ecosystems.
The ocean is full of hidden treasures. The ocean hides more than just beautiful sights. It's packed with secrets from history, rare animals, and amazing natural wonders. Every dive or expedition can reveal something new that changes how we see our planet. These treasures remind us how little we know and how important it is to protect this vast underwater world. The ocean's giants. Besides blue whales, the ocean is home to some of the biggest and oldest creatures on Earth. Giant squids can grow as long as a bus, and ancient sea turtles have been around for millions of years. These giants move slowly but play huge roles in the ocean's food webs, helping keep everything balanced. The ocean is a place of mystery and wonder. Even with all the technology we have, most of the ocean remains unexplored. Deep trenches, colorful reefs, and dark caves all hold life forms and landscapes we've never seen before. Exploring these areas may lead to discoveries that help science, medicine, and how we protect our planet. The ocean helps us live. The ocean produces more oxygen than all forests combined. Tiny plants in the water, called phytoplankton, make oxygen while also absorbing carbon dioxide. They form the base of the food chain, too, feeding countless sea animals and, indirectly, humans. Protecting these tiny plants is protecting all life on Earth. The ocean faces big challenges. Pollution, climate change, and overfishing threaten the ocean's health. Plastic waste harms sea creatures. Warming waters bleach coral reefs, and some fish populations are shrinking fast. But by learning and caring, people can help reduce damage and support efforts to save ocean habitats and species. The ocean inspires and calms. Whether you watch waves roll onto the shore, listen to whale songs underwater, or see glowing plankton light up the night sea, the ocean inspires peace and wonder. It connects us all, reminding us of the beauty and power of nature. Taking time to appreciate the ocean can help calm the mind and soothe the soul.
How ocean currents work. Ocean currents are like giant rivers flowing through the sea. They move warm water from the tropics toward the cooler poles and bring colder water back toward the equator. This movement helps balance Earth's temperature and influences weather patterns globally. For example, the Gulf Stream carries warm water from the Caribbean across the Atlantic to Western Europe, making its climate milder than it would otherwise be. These currents also carry nutrients that feed marine animals and affect where fish and other sea creatures live. Waves and their journey. Waves begin when wind blows over the ocean's surface. The stronger and longer the wind, the bigger and farther the waves can travel. Some waves can cross entire oceans without losing energy. These traveling waves carry the power of storms far from their start point, reaching distant shores and shaping coastlines. Surfers enjoy riding these waves, and sailors use their knowledge of waves to navigate safely. Saltiness of the ocean. Not all ocean water tastes the same. The salt level or salinity changes depending on location. The Red Sea is one of the saltiest places because it loses a lot of water to evaporation and gets little rain. On the other hand, the Baltic Sea is less salty because it receives a lot of river water, which dilutes the salt content. Differences in salinity affect how heavy the water is, which influences the flow of currents and where animals can live. The important surface layer. The ocean's surface layer, just a few meters deep, plays a big role in supporting life. It catches sunlight so tiny plants called phytoplankton can do photosynthesis, turning sunlight into oxygen. Phytoplankton form the base of the food chain, feeding many sea animals. This layer also exchanges gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide with the air, which helps regulate the planet's climate and weather. Communication underwater. Many ocean animals use sounds to talk to each other. Whales sing songs that can travel hundreds of miles underwater, helping them stay connected even from far away. Dolphins use clicks and whistles to communicate and find food using echolocation. Seals use loud calls to warn others or find mates. Scientists learn about these sounds to understand sea animal behavior and how noise pollution may affect them. Weird lakes in the ocean. Underneath the ocean, there are strange lakes and rivers made of very salty water. These lakes, called brine pools, are much saltier and heavier than surrounding seawater, so they don't mix easily and flow along the ocean floor like rivers. These salty lakes create unique environments where special animals live, ones that can survive in harsh chemical conditions unlike anywhere else on Earth. Navigation by magnetism. Some sea turtles, salmon, and whales have a natural ability to detect the Earth's magnetic field. This acts like a compass, helping them find their way across vast ocean distances during migrations. For example, sea turtles return to the same beaches where they were born to lay their eggs, using this magnetic sense. Scientists are still studying how exactly these animals sense the magnetic field, but it's clearly important for their survival. Sea stars and their amazing regeneration. Sea stars are incredible because they can regrow lost arms. If a sea star loses an arm to a predator or accident, it can slowly grow it back. Some species can even regrow a whole new sea star from just a single arm plus part of the central body. This amazing ability helps them survive attacks and recover from injuries, and scientists study them to learn more about how animals heal. Plastic pollution's impact. Plastic waste in the ocean breaks down over time into tiny pieces called microplastics. These microplastics are eaten by tiny animals like plankton, which are food for bigger fish, shrimp, and whales. This means plastic pollution moves up the food chain, affecting many animals and even humans who eat seafood. The problem is getting worse, so reducing plastic use and cleaning up oceans are very important. Ocean acidification and its effects. The ocean absorbs carbon dioxide from the air, but too much causes the water to become more acidic. This acidification makes it harder for animals like clams, crabs, oysters, and corals to build strong shells and skeletons. Without strong shells, these animals are more likely to die, which harms the whole ecosystem. Scientists monitor ocean acidification closely to understand how to protect marine life. Life in just a few meters of water. The very top layer of the ocean, often just a few meters deep, supports a huge part of ocean life. Sunlight penetrates this layer and feeds phytoplankton that produce oxygen and food. This layer also acts as the boundary between the ocean and the air, exchanging gases that affect Earth's climate and weather. Despite its small size, this surface zone impacts weather, sea health, and the survival of many ocean creatures.
Ocean songs and sounds. Whales, dolphins, and seals communicate by singing, clicking, and calling. Their sounds can carry long distances through water. Whale songs, especially from humpbacks, are complex and can last for hours. These sounds help animals find mates, establish territories, and keep groups together. Scientists record and study these sounds to learn about marine life and protect them from noise pollution.
Oceans move in giant currents like slow rivers. Think of the ocean as a giant, slow-moving river that wraps around the Earth. These currents carry warm water from the hot tropics up toward the cold poles and bring chilly water back toward the equator. This big loop helps keep our planet's climate just right, not too hot or cold. It's like a giant conveyor belt that moves heat and nutrients, making sure animals from tiny fish to huge whales get what they need to survive. Waves are the ocean's breathing. When wind blows over the water, it pushes and pulls, creating waves that travel across seas and oceans. Some of these waves can travel for thousands of miles without losing their strength. When they finally reach the shore, they shape beaches, bring food and nutrients, and even create the perfect ride for surfers. Waves are more than just water moving. They're the ocean's heartbeat on the planet. Salt water that tastes different in every ocean. The ocean might cover most of Earth, but not all ocean water is the same. Some parts are saltier because they lose lots of water to the sun, leaving salt behind, while other parts get fresh water from rivers, which lowers the saltiness. This difference in salt changes how heavy the water is, and that affects ocean currents and where fish and other sea life decide to live. The ocean is a salty world with lots of little variations that keep it interesting. The ocean's thin skin at the top. The very top layer of the ocean is where all the life begins. It might be just a few meters thick, but it soaks up sunlight needed by tiny plants called phytoplankton. These microscopic plants create oxygen, just like trees do on land, and form the base of the entire ocean food chain. This thin layer also helps Earth breathe by exchanging gases with the air. Without it, life as we know it wouldn't exist. How sea creatures talk underwater. Whales, dolphins, and seals don't have phones, but they sure know how to communicate. They use sounds like songs, clicks, and whistles to say hello, warn about danger, or find friends and mates. Some whale songs have parts that echo and travel for miles under the water, kind of like a secret sea radio. Scientists listen to these songs to learn about their lives and to understand how noise from boats and humans might disturb them. Strange lakes lying beneath the ocean. Under the ocean's surface, there are mysterious lakes of water that are saltier and heavier than surrounding seawater. These underwater lakes sit in deep holes and don't mix easily with the rest of the ocean, almost like lakes inside a lake. Strange creatures live here that can survive the harsh, salty water, showing just how diverse and surprising life under the sea can be. Sea turtles' built-in GPS. Sea turtles have a cool secret. They can sense Earth's magnetic field, almost like having a built-in GPS. This helps them swim thousands of miles across the ocean, guiding them back to the exact beach where they were born to lay their eggs. It's amazing how nature has given these creatures the tools to navigate such a huge and sometimes confusing underwater world. The amazing healing power of sea stars. If a sea star loses one of its arms, whether from a predator or accident, it doesn't have to worry. It can grow that arm back. Some sea stars can even regrow an entire new body from just one lost arm and part of their center. This incredible ability keeps their population strong and is an exciting subject for scientists who study how animals heal and regenerate body parts. Plastic pollution's sneaky trouble. Tiny pieces of plastic called microplastics are now everywhere in the ocean, from the waves on the surface to the deepest trenches. These bits come from broken down trash and fibers from clothes.
Little sea creatures eat them by mistake, and these plastics move up the food chain, reaching bigger fish and even whales. And eventually, some even end up on our plates. It's a big problem, but many people and groups are working hard to clean up and stop plastic pollution from getting worse. How ocean acidification harms shell builders. The ocean soaks up a lot of the carbon dioxide we produce, but when too much CO2 mixes with seawater, it makes the water more acidic. This is bad news for animals like clams, crabs, and corals that build hard shells. They can't make strong shells in acid water, and their shells even start to break down. This threatens entire ecosystems, and scientists around the world are watching closely to find ways to help them. The thin layer where life begins. Though the ocean's surface layer is just a few meters thick, it plays a huge role. It's where sunlight reaches, where tiny life like phytoplankton make oxygen, and where the ocean meets the air. This layer controls the gases we breathe and affect weather and climate worldwide. It's like the ocean's skin, thin but incredibly important. Songs echoing across the seas. Whale songs aren't just beautiful, they're ways these giants stay in touch across vast, dark oceans. Some whale calls can travel hundreds of miles underwater, helping to find mates or navigate the deep sea. Dolphins use clicks and whistles to talk and echolocate, acting like natural sonar. These sounds paint a picture of life beneath the waves and remind us that the ocean is alive with communication.
The deep ocean is dark but full of life. Even though sunlight doesn't reach the deep parts of the ocean, life still thrives there. Many deep-sea creatures have special adaptations, like glowing bodies, to survive in complete darkness. This glow, called bioluminescence, helps animals find mates, catch prey, or hide from predators. It's one of the ocean's most amazing tricks for living in a world without sunlight. Blue whales are the largest animals to ever live on Earth. They can grow as long as 3 buses lined up and weigh as much as 33 elephants. Despite their huge size, blue whales mostly eat tiny krill, small shrimp-like creatures, in huge amounts to fuel their giant bodies. Their deep songs can travel long distances underwater, helping them communicate across the vast ocean. Coral reefs are underwater cities. Coral reefs cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, but they're home to about 25% of all marine life. They're often called the rainforests of the sea because so many plants and animals live there. Tiny coral animals build reefs by making hard skeletons that pile up over thousands of years. These reefs protect coastlines from storms and provide food and homes for lots of sea creatures. The ocean stores more carbon than the air. The ocean acts like Earth's biggest carbon bank, holding nearly 20 times more carbon than the atmosphere. Tiny ocean plants called phytoplankton take in carbon dioxide from the air during photosynthesis. When these plants die, their carbon-rich bodies sink to the seafloor and get trapped for hundreds or thousands of years. This process helps slow climate change, but it's delicate and affected by pollution and warming oceans. The ocean has some of the flattest places on Earth. Far under the waves, the ocean floor has huge flat areas called abyssal plains. These plains stretch for thousands of square kilometers and are among the flattest spots on our planet, flatter even than deserts on land. Sediments slowly settle on the ocean floor to create these massive, flat regions, which are home to special deep-sea animals adapted to cold, dark, and high-pressure conditions. Mangrove forests protect shores and fight climate change. Mangrove trees grow along warm coastal areas and create thick forests with tangled roots.
These forests protect shores from erosion and storms by breaking up waves. Mangroves are also powerful carbon sinks, storing more carbon per area than most land forests. They provide important habitats for fish, birds, and many other animals, making them vital for healthy coastlines. Some sharks have a sixth sense. Certain sharks can detect electric fields produced by the movements of other animals. This ability, called electroreception, helps them hunt even in murky water or at night where they can't see well. Special organs called ampullae of Lorenzini pick up these electrical signals. This sixth sense makes sharks efficient predators and one of the ocean's most skilled hunters. The ocean's tiniest plants can be seen from space. Every year, tiny plants called phytoplankton sometimes bloom in such huge numbers that their green color can be spotted from space. These blooms are like giant underwater gardens that feed many sea animals. But sometimes, these blooms grow out of control and release toxins harmful to fish, animals, and people. Scientists watch these blooms with satellites to keep track of ocean health. Ocean's dead zones are trouble spots. Dead zones are areas in the ocean where oxygen levels get so low that most marine life can't survive. These zones form when pollution, like farm chemicals, causes algae to grow rapidly. When the algae die, their decay uses up oxygen in the water. Dead zones can wipe out fish and other sea creatures and have been spreading around the world, threatening fishing communities and ecosystems.